my name is Darth Jeswick and welcome back to my channel. Today we're rebuilding the Goth mansion using the base game only. I really like their old mansion, but it's just a little bit too big, and Alexander's room is like on the 3rd floor and it just doesn't really feel fair because he's like a child and he has to climb up all these stairs just to get to his room. And on top of that, the rooms from the original house are ridiculously huge. I also just really enjoy the Goth family in general. I think they're really great people. Like Bella and Mortimer are always really nice to other Sims that I have in the world, as well as their kids, Cassandra and Alexander. Like, they're pretty much the exact opposite of the Landgrab family. Apart from like Jeffrey, he's actually very nice. The only downside to building a mansion on this lot is that it's only a 30 by 20 lot and it's very, very small. I wanted them to have more outdoor space though, because they didn't really have a ton of things for the children to do outside. I ended up putting a monkey bar set, a hot tub, and a couple other things out here in the backyard. I was struggling a little bit with deciding on a fence for the backyard. We have a stone fence in the front yard, so I thought I was gonna like putting that in the backyard, but it just didn't look right, so I ended up switching it to the hedge fence. Even though it still looks a little odd when you transition from the metal on the porch to the grass hedge. But I really don't know what to do about that in this game, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. I did this build a little bit differently than I would normally. Sometimes I kind of skip between like the inside and the outside, and that's kind of what I was doing for this one, but I did landscape the entire front yard before I ended up going inside. Mostly just because there wasn't a ton of space to put anything in the front yard, so I just knocked it out of the way and went to the interior. We've got our floor plan in here, and I will make it just a tiny bit bigger as I'm like kind of building here because we didn't have quite enough room. I had a lot of problems with these friezes. They kept trying to attach to the porches that I have on the front and the back, and you know, we don't need them there. They're just floating into nothing. In total, this build ended up being around 198,273 simoleons. I didn't use any money cheats. The Goth family had quite a few expensive decor items, like a couple of knight statues, which are like $8,000 or $9,000 a piece. So I had plenty of money to work with, and then I had a lot left over too. I think they ended up with about $60,000 in their bank account. I recently rebuilt the Landgrab mansion, and I had to use money cheats there because I didn't use any pack restrictions. I just used as many packs as I wanted. So I ended up using a lot more small clutter items that ended up using up a lot of money. I have a couple of lot traits turned on for this build. We have the Child's Play, Good Schools, and Fast Internet lot traits. Mortimer Goth is actually like in the writer career, so I figured the fast internet would help him, and Bella is in the intelligence career. For this last bit of landscaping that I did in the front yard, I just added a water fountain and some terrain paint. We've got the low-lying pale flowers. Then we moved into the living room. It took me a minute to decide which red and black wallpaper I wanted to use. I ended up using this one that has like a really cool baseboard, though it doesn't really come in a whole lot of swatches, so I decided to do a light blue one for Alexander's room and then a light pink one for Cassandra's room, just so they have their own space and to break up the red a little bit. As for the bathrooms and the kitchen, I went with this blue tile at first, and then towards the end I just ended up switching it to a red tile. It looked a lot better that way. Everything actually like matches with the red wallpaper. We've got a love seat and a couch here in the living room. I'm trying to find a decent looking rug. We don't really have a ton of options with the base game only. I end up going with this like more expensive rug in this like black and white swatch, adding a couple of chairs, and then I put a grand piano here in this little bump out. I went back and added a couple of windows on the outside to the dining room and to the living room just because it looked a little boring, and I also wanted to bring in a lot more natural light. I also added these windows in the kitchen. We're not going to put any like cabinets above them. We're just going to leave it kind of empty because I don't like the way that cabinets look when they're over windows. I didn't use the most expensive appliances. I used the ones like right underneath of it, the London's Choice ones. And then I put a bunch of curtains on the living room walls. We've got these like nice red matching curtains. And again, we don't have many swatches of that one either. We don't have like a plain black swatch for these curtains or like even like a gray swatch. It's kind of like a bluish gray, so it looked better with the red curtains. But I'm starting to just get some plants in here. I wanted to have like a lot of greenery despite only having the base game, which doesn't really have a ton of plants, which is a little upsetting because I didn't want to like reuse all my plants that I had. I was also going to try to use this like Lincoln statue that has a hat on it. I thought it was really fun. Just try to get a little radio in here, one of the old antique looking ones. It doesn't really clip to a lot of like surfaces, so I just didn't put it in. And this is a pretty musically talented family. Cassandra actually has the musical genius aspiration, so if they want to listen to music, they could probably just have her play some. The dining room in here just gave me so much trouble. It was so big, I didn't know what to put in here. I didn't want to have a really long table because I wanted it to be this round one that fits in this little like nook here. Ended up making the stairs bigger at one point and then making the whole upstairs bigger just so that I could accommodate this dining room and add a bunch of clutter in here so that it looked somewhat lived in and not super empty. I still think it looks a little bit empty. I don't know what else I could have put in here though that wouldn't have been like right in the middle of the room. But we're moving on to the bedrooms now. I figured this is the perfect time to actually tell you about the family themselves. We're doing the master bedroom first, so I figured I could tell you about Mortimer and Bella. Mortimer has the Renaissance Sim aspiration, which gives him the Quick Learner bonus trait. He's also a bookworm, creative, and outgoing. He is in the freelance article writer career, and he's level 3. Then we have Bella. Her aspiration is the party animal, which gives her the gregarious bonus trait. Her traits are good, romantic, perfectionist, and family-oriented. Bella is an intelligence researcher in the secret agent career. Currently working on Cassandra's room. She's a teen girl with the musical genius aspiration, which gives her the muser bonus trait. She is gloomy and creative. She's a high school student. And then we have Alexander. He is the youngest child who has the whiz kid aspiration, and his traits are just the bookworm. He is an elementary school student. In my personal save, Cassandra has the violin skill, so I gave her one of those. And then of course we have the piano downstairs. But Sims tend to get a tense moodlet when music is being played badly around them, so I wanted her to have a space to practice on her own. I also gave her a desk and a computer just so she could do some homework or talk to friends, you know, do whatever. Added in the new backpack from the update that you can actually put stuff in, so I feel like if she had a laptop, you could actually drag the laptop into the backpack and it would still work. I also gave a backpack to Alexander. We've got this little like void critter backpack, and I also gave them matching lunch boxes in the kitchen downstairs. But for Alexander's room, I gave him a big dollhouse, kind of in honor of their old house because it looks pretty similar, as well as one of the creativity tables and a toy box and the dragon stuffy. And then I also put one of the experiment tables on the patio outside because I think for the WizKid aspiration you have to do like a bunch of skills for it, so I just wanted to have as many things as I possibly could for him because the base game house that was here didn't really have a lot of activities for children. I was also really trying to fit this big pirate playship outside in the backyard. I ended up just having to delete it because I wanted to put a few more things in the backyard for the adults to do. It was also really expensive. I think those playships are like 12,000 simoleons. Not that we really needed any more money for this lot because we still have like $100,000 at this point, but it also just took up way too much space. And originally I had the door to the patio in Bella and Mortimer's room. I ended up switching it out to the hallway because I didn't want the kids to have to go through the parents' bedroom in order to get outside to do stuff on the patio. And then I put a small office upstairs as well, just for Mortimer to do his writing in. I put in one of the really nice computers. I think it's actually like 10,000 simoleons, but it's Mortimer Goth and he's a writer, so I figured he would probably have a really expensive computer. And I added a couple of bookshelves. These are actually the career reward bookshelves you get from the writing career, so I put a couple of those on either side of the desk and then added a couple of lamps, and that was it for the office. The only other things I added were a few paintings and some lamps. Then I started working on the backyard. You can see I've got a monkey bar set and our hot tub out here. I also put a covered patio table. There's a lot of dining spots here in this house, I'm just realizing. We actually have a dining room table on the patio as well by the grill, and then I also added this one with the umbrella out in the yard. And then I did this weird thing with the tile out here just because I wanted a smaller patio space. So I hit Control F and it gives you these quarter tiles so you can kind of place them wherever you need to. That is just about all for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button because it really helps out. If there's something you want to see me build in the future, make sure to drop it in a comment below. And as always, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I try to post a couple times a week, so you don't want to miss those videos. But I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Dag dag!